This is the story of the 35 million diamond heist at the Millennium Dome, told by Lee Wenham, one of the men involved in the robbery. Episode 1 of the diamond heist begins in July 2000, when Lee attempts to rob a security van. The van was carrying $8.9 million in cash. The plan was months in the making. They stopped the van and scared the two guards inside using a fake landmine bomb, so they wouldn't hit the emergency button. They tried breaking into the van's rear door, using a vehicle equipped with a battering ram. But just before they could get to the money, the police arrived and they fled. Lee Wenham's personal story. As a kid, my dad was my role model. We used to hang around pubs with low-level gangsters. Every 2 to 3 weeks, police would raid our house. Imagine being just 9 years old when cops are storming your home. In 1983, he stole a JCB for the first time. By 1992, he started smuggling cigarettes, and then moved on to stealing from cash points, ATMs. At just 20 years old, he was making $6,000 a week. He had 2 daughters, but they never knew what their dad really did for a living. In July 2000, I met Ray Betson. He was well known in London's criminal world. His name carried weight on the streets. Ray was planning something big. He told us all the money we wanted was inside the Millennium Dome. Back in 1990, in the Zaire region, a 777-carat diamond was discovered. After it was cut, it became a 203-carat gem worth $300 million. It was named the Millennium Star. The dome had high-level security. Around it, there was a hexagonal wall made of metal bars strong enough to withstand a car crash. Motion detectors were so sensitive, they could be triggered by the movement of a fly. There were also CCTV cameras monitored 24/7 by 3 guards in a secure control room. The diamonds were kept behind specially made glass worth $56,000, so strong that even cutting it for 30 minutes straight would barely leave a mark. After that, Ray visited the dome with his daughters. When he saw the diamonds, he said, "I'm going to steal these." We assembled a team. Bomb Adam, an expert in explosives and technical equipment. Buck, fearless and physically strong. Aldo, the technician. Trey, highly experienced in jobs like this. The plan was to break through the outer wall of the dome using a JCB. But the real challenge was how to break the glass protecting the diamonds. The strategy was to first weaken the glass using a heat-powered nail gun and then smash it with a sledgehammer. I was kicked out of school at the age of 12, and from then on, I was involved in one crime or another with my dad. I had visited the Millennium Dome more than a dozen times. The biggest obstacle was the outer wall. Its door was made of solid steel. It required 2 people to open and close it. Once shut, it couldn't be opened again. So the plan was to strike while the door was already open. Ray had a friend who worked inside the dome. He was a cop. They brought him in on the plan. The idea was simple. Smash the wall with the JCB, break the glass, steal the diamonds, and escape by boat. But on the other side, the police already had their eyes on them. Meanwhile, the police were actively searching for the gang that had attacked the security van. Then came a breakthrough. Trey, who was Lee's partner, crashed a car while high. Even though the police knew he was involved in the robbery and had a criminal record, they let him go. Trey went into hiding at a place called Tong Farm, owned by Wenham, Lee's father. Police began surveillance, knowing Lee had been involved in multiple crimes. They tracked him. Lee went to the dome again, and this time he took photos of the diamonds. Now police were certain. He was planning to steal the diamonds. Cameras were installed around the farm, and soon police identified all the gang members moving between the farm and the dome. The diamonds were scheduled to be sent to Tokyo, and the police were sure the gang would try to strike in those few days. So the diamonds were transferred to Heathrow Airport under full security, because the police suspected the gang might try to rob them in transit. But nothing happened then. Back at the farm, the gang brought in a JCB, a nail gun, and a speedboat. The police were watching every move. On November 6th, the JCB was transported near the dome, and the boat was positioned nearby as well. The flying squad was fully prepared. 140 cameras, undercover officers, helicopters, everything in place. The gang smashed through with the JCB, broke the glass, grabbed the diamonds, and ran toward the boat, crossed the water, and jumped into a getaway van. But that's not what happened. Just as they were taking the diamonds, police stormed in and began arresting everyone. The van on the water's edge was caught. The boat caught. All of them caught. But Lee wasn't among them. He was on his way to the farm, but the police arrested him too. Lee's father was also arrested. Lee received a letter from his daughters in prison, and it broke him. He was also charged for the earlier security van robbery. In court, the gang claimed they were thieves and not robbers, because robbery can get you 15 to 25 years, while theft only carried about 7 years. So they received a reduced sentence, just 1.5 years in some cases. But the police officer who was part of their plan testified against them, saying he helped under pressure and to protect his family. On February 18, 2002, the gang was sentenced, a combined total of 74 years. Lee's father was ill. Through a lawyer, police sent Lee a message. If he confessed, they'd let his father go. Lee confessed. He was sentenced to 13 years, but served only 4. He came out a changed man. But here's the twist of 2 months before the heist. The flying squad had already swapped out the real diamonds. The gang never touched the originals.